Welcome to Wednesday Comics.
Brought to you by rootsoftheswampthing.com and Siouxpercon 2018 Return of the Con.
Hey everyone, keep turning those pages.
Welcome to Wednesday Comics. Across me, we got here Mr. Mel Gibson himself. Alex, how you doing?
Hello everyone.
And to my right, we have Donnie Glover himself. He's too old for this shit. Garrett, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
And
That was pretty good.
and I'm Joe Pesci. See, you fucked me up, Joe.
Hey, just because you don't know the
Pesci.
name, it's Joe Pesci, man.
I know what it is. You don't know what it is.
He has a fucking gold tooth in Home Alone. Get it right.
We are the Wednesday Comics Podcast. We're here to tell you the comics coming out for August 1st, 2018. No, we're not here to tell you about it. We're here to tell you about them. And to first start off, we're going to talk about Lethal Weapon. One of me and Alex's favorite movie series. Garrett, you haven't seen it yet, right?
No, I've seen it. I've seen the first two.
One.
Seen the first two.
What do you see? Two Cop Killers?
No, it's 3.
Oh, shit, what's 2?
Spoilers.
Oh,
Germans.
Diplomatic immunity?
Just got revoked.
Oh my god.
Lethal Weapon. I've said this to Alex a million times. Lethal Weapon is the best series in terms of that fucking action cheese. That's what I like. I mean, there's nothing better than the first movie is actually like a really fucking good movie.
Yeah.
And then we get Diplomatic Immunity. And then we get Cop Killers.
And it's from Hans from Mighty Ducks. He's the bad guy.
And then we get fucking Jet Li, who Mel Gibson cannot take him in real life, in fake life, but yet somehow in this reality, it happens. And then now they're working on a 5. They're not working on a 5.
Well, that TV show's going
Dick
on
Donner.
right now.
Oh, there's the TV show that I've never seen. Have you seen it?
It's on its third season.
You and I had watched a little bit of stuff when we were at the hospital one time.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it
buddy.
looked like shit.
We watched the preview, yeah, and it wasn't good.
I've heard it's pretty bad, but they just announced that Sean William Scott, well, the guy got arrested for drugs that plays Riggs, or at least
really?
the Lethal Weapon character.
Yeah.
And
Character
he's getting,
actor. He's in character, buddy.
yeah, he got replaced by Sean William Scott.
Sean
From,
William Scott. Ooh, that's not a good choice at all.
Stifler from American Pie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Have you seen the, what's the one with The Rock and him? The Rundown?
Rundown, but he's not playing Riggs.
Well, I know. But
Last Man on Earth, he's not playing Riggs. I'd rather have a chimpanzee play Riggs. I don't know what that means. But
Corey, hashtag guess us one.
you know why? Because chimpanzee's crazy.
You know what?
He's crazy. I don't believe Sean William Scott's crazy.
That's depressing. Where you got Danny Glover and Mel Gibson, who I think made these characters iconic, and then they got replaced into this, I realized, a TV show, which no way could it fulfill that want I would have from those movies.
I'm not going to give away what's happening now, but for some reason, I'm researching Lethal Weapon right now. And the look of that TV show looks so polished. It looks so clean. And that's not what that series is. It's never been what that series is. The people, they fight in the mud. Do you understand me here? Break his fucking neck.
God, that's still one of
In
the best
the mud,
one of
in
best
the
lines.
rain. It's dirty. Diplomatic communities on a dirty boat. Cop killers in a junkyard. Like
I'm
that.
saying a construction site.
That series has never been. And in the last movie, they fight on some sort of construction site or whatever.
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Do you think Mel Gibson and Donnie Glover still talk?
Danny Glover.
Danny Glover.
What did you say?
Donnie, my bad.
Donnie. I mean, he goes by Don. Don? Do you think he doesn't go by Don?
Don Glover.
No, because that's his name. I would assume would have been Daniel Glover. You don't usually go by Donnie if your name was Daniel, so it'd be Danny Glover.
Wait, his name is not Donald? Oh,
No, his name is Danny Glover.
I'm thinking of Childish Gambino. That's who I'm thinking.
Yeah.
No, maybe not. I
Do
don't know.
you guys think they have a
Do you think
relationship?
they ever, they ever talk on set?
You know
If
what?
Mel Gibson was cool enough to be able to be on Twitter and not like ruin the world, then he might have tweets with Danny Glover.
I think that if I remember right, on GMA they actually had Mel Gibson on there, and he did talk. You know, we've talked about doing
What the fuck's GMA?
Good Morning America.
You old man.
on ABC.
You watch Good Morning America?
Hey, I'm up at 6 in the morning. I gotta watch the
What are
news.
you up at 6 in the morning for?
I got a
Your
daughter,
work does not open until I have a son.
and I
I'm
drink
not up
coffee
at
in the
He
morning.
can't sleep. He's like, I could make the best Lethal Weapon 5 you've ever seen.
There's a better chance.
We already made the best Die Hard 6.
Yeah, we did.
So,
There's a better chance I'm going to sleep at 6 than waking up at 6.
I'm most mornings I'm up at 6.
So Lethal Weapon went to bring up because they aren't really, I don't think, explored it in comics. Why not? Lethal Weapon, what do you think's the holdback there? You think they just don't know, like, Is it maybe because, like, in the time they would make it a comic, and I'm going to research this. Maybe there is some sort of comic that nobody's ever heard about. But
probably an adaptation if it was.
Yeah.
I think there's a book out there, but it's not like when Die Hard had that first season 1 or year 1.
You're talking prose?
Well, I'm thinking. I think there's a novel out there that was a Lethal Weapon-esque book.
Graphic novel or like
No,
book
like
novel?
literally a book
prose.
with prose.
Yeah, okay. So I don't think that translates. That's a very visual film. Rich Donner, Gary, that's your
Dick Donner.
Dickie?
Dick, if you're his friend.
It's like when we call Betty Brightweiser Betty and not Elizabeth.
The king of Superman. Christopher Reeve.
Guys, keep talking here. I'm doing a little research. This is called On the Cuff, a Lethal Weapon comic.
Do you own all 4,
Yeah.
Garrett? Okay.
And they're all on Netflix right now.
Oh, that's right there.
Thanks, Netflix. Give me a profit. Thanks.
So 1 literally is probably one of the best movies out there. 2,
good.
actually, I really did enjoy 2 because 2 really does take place just shortly after 1.
Have you ever seen Kiss Kiss Bang Bang?
No.
Shane Black, who wrote the Lethal Weapon movies, did that movie, and it's Robert Downey Jr. and Val Kilmer. And it's like, I think Shane Black was meant to write buddy cop scripts. Like our buddy.
Because he does Iron Man 3, doesn't he?
Yeah.
There's something else that's coming out
Predators.
soon. Yeah, The Predator.
I'm so excited because he's such an action, and I bet there'll be some good comedy. I mean, you get Olivia Munn in there, and what's the one of the Wayans brothers in there, I think.
I thought is it Jordan or is it Peele? Or is it Jordan Peele is his name?
Oh, yeah. Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm just
Because
mixing it
I
up.
looked at it, it's like, oh, there's good people in it,
Mm-hmm. Oh, did you see?
but not like,
I know we're going on a tangent, but that mega predator looks terrifying.
is that the 10-foot one that they're talking
Yeah,
about?
There's-
the one that's bigger than normal size
From
predators.
a quick Google search, and Google usually is pretty good about putting it up top if you put Lethal Weapon comic. It should put it right on top if there's
Did it
nothing.
put Mel Gibson
There's
doing a
nothing.
joke?
Let's make a Lethal Weapon. Here's the thing. Here, I got it right away. So in the second movie, like let's remove the first. We can't recreate that. We're never gonna live up to that first movie. Let's not even try. Don't attempt. Don't reach for the stars. Reach for the moon.
Mr. Joshua, and I want the first arc to be break his fucking neck.
Joshua's not first arc. Joshua's long term, baby. He like in the first issue, you see him. That's it. Or you see him like in the then all the cliffhanger
he's
of the
walking
first
out
arc.
the door?
He shows up. That's the cliffhanger of the first arc. He shows up. The first arc, these fucking cop killers and this diplomatic immunity, they team up. You got diplomatic immunity with cop killers? Holy shit.
Why don't you do between the
imagine?
movies?
They can kill these cops and they have diplomatic immunity.
Why don't you do between Lethal Weapon 1 and 2? Because like Lethal Weapon 2, like Riggs
This
just...
is Lethal Weapon 5 we're talking about.
Oh, you're doing a sequel.
Yeah, they're old. They can't stop these guys anymore. They're literally too old for this shit.
Yeah.
Danny's in the ground basically halfway
Do you know
out.
you know what the promotion for that comic would be?
Huh.
You could never get too old for this
Nah,
shit.
get out of town. You're not in charge of marketing.
Come on! That's killer!
No, it's gonna be
Cop killer.
It's gonna be at the bottom. The cover's gonna be them both super old. And Chris Rock was in the fourth one. And he's actually kind of grown up, and he's like the guy that's gonna actually be our star. And bring a new guy in too. Got to bring a new guy in. And it's gonna say now they're too old for this shit. That's your
Oh,
marketing.
there you go.
And
Not as good.
we get this diplomatic immunity, and these cop killers, they're unstoppable. That's
So wait.
This shit
The
never
comp
gets
killer,
old.
the comp killers. Now, Garrett, this is all spoilers. Everyone, this is spoilers.
It's okay.
Why would they come back to team up?
So
They've already been established.
No. I'm not saying
And
the people
they've already
who had
killed
the,
these guys.
not the
And I'm
people who
saying
had the
the-
cop killer. Sorry,
The guys from movie 2 are dead.
you got a little confused here. You don't know for sure.
Bullets are pretty convincing.
They could fake it. They got diplomatic immunity. So they found cop killers, and they came back with those bullets, and now they have diplomatic immunity and the ultimate weapon. Oh, and
They've got a Riggs clone.
they got the ultimate weapon and Jet Li. Holy shit, Riggs can't do. He can't defeat those two.
Wolverine is in this movie.
We'll look for that pretty soon. That's coming out as soon as possible.
Lethal Weapon. X Factor.
Coming from Dumbass Studios.
RootsOfTheSwampThing.com, your definitive online source for all things Swamp Thing. Holland Files number 2 is out. Garrett, how is it?
Holland File 2's was awesome. A lot of cool like images that you haven't got to see in Holland Files number 1, so definitely looking forward to finishing this bad boy.
And that's not the only thing. If you want to learn more about Swamp Thing, Alex, where would you go?
You're going to go to rootsoftheswampthing.com.
Make sure to stay in touch at rootsofswampthing.com on Twitter at DC World Swampy, Facebook.com/Roots of the Swamp Thing. Let's talk about some comic books here. First up, we have Mr. Miracle number 10. This is Tom King and Mitch Gerads. is the penultimate issue. Is that what they call it? The one before the last? I mean, the one before the one for the last. In this issue, if you read that last issue, the end cliffhanger was Darkseid said, "I will end this war if you give me your son." So this whole issue is them deciding, not even them, just Mr. Miracle himself, Mr. Scotty, deciding if it's worth it to give up his son to end this war. And we talked about last issue. That's a hard decision. It's one life versus millions of lives, billions of lives, possibly, if Darkseid ever gets past them. And the whole issue is him deciding, is it worth it? Him being depressed about it first. And there's a scene where he's taking a shower, right? And his wife, Barda, is saying, talking about his first birthday. Can you imagine? It's this birthday party is more of a celebration that we made it to the first year. And he's still alive. He's not going to remember it. This is more of a celebration for us. And slowly, that he made it, that he survived, and he falls to the ground because maybe he won't make it. Because Darkseid is asking for his son the Friday or Saturday, right? His birthday's on Sunday. And I think it's Friday that Darkseid the deadline is that Friday.
Oh, it's Saturday. That's why they're going to have the party on Friday.
No.
He wants the cake by Friday. Because he's Saturday night, we got a choice to make.
So the day before he turns 1, Darkseid's asking for him. And so she's saying all this, and that's when Scott realizes he might not, you're saying this, but he might not make it. For Barda, it's not a decision. They're not giving up their son. Oh. But Scott, he's not that black and white. He said, and he goes to the store at one point and buys something, and he asked the guy, point blank, he goes, "This is not hypothetical. I mean, what would you do if you were in this situation?" And the guy talks about kind of a life equation, that life is all about taking as much happiness as you can out of it. So you have to decide the thing that you want to do, is it going to take away happiness from a lot of people? And is it worth it for the happiness that you'll take out of it? And then you have to make a decision. It would be worth it to you to give up your son to save that many lives.
So I got to say, when Chet from the party store, was it Party League? I don't know what the store was called.
Yeah.
When, obviously this is Tom King's words, put that quote in his mouth, I made my decision right there. I mean, I knew what I think would be right, but right away I was like, 100%, I know your route, and if you don't pick this, you're a moron after hearing that.
What was your decision?
You want to hear it?
Yeah.
You saved that fucking kid. Yes, it would be horrible to, sacrifice your happiness so that people could live, but what's the point of living then if you're not going to be happy? You got to pull a fucking Lucius Malfoy, get that Draco back on your side, and fuck everyone else. It's your family. Yes, you're a leader, and you have to do what's right for as much people as you can, but you got to take care of, what's always the hierarchy of what's most important to you? You, family, then friends, then coworkers, then all that. So why in instances of, turmoil are you let's take this outside, and yes, that is a lot of weight.
Yeah, but the guy he's trying not to be an asshole.
I know, but you can't be a people pleaser. That's the people pleasers get fucking run over.
I don't know if it's considered being a people pleaser if you're saving lives. That's not a people pleaser.
He is doing, but versus saving his son.
No, I understand.
People pleasing.
But if you think about it on a grand scale, right? If you take yourself out of the picture, it's a selfish decision to save one person. I'm not talking, let's remove the relationships. It's selfish to save one person versus a million. Now, do I agree with you?
Coming from a Jedi, though. I mean,
No, I agree.
Right.
I would make the same decision. I'm just saying, playing devil's advocate, that's what the thing is.
Right.
And he's telling them, out of a million people's happiness, is one person's happiness worth it?
But Chet was asking him to you, what will make you more happy?
Yeah, no,
in that
I know.
instance. Yeah. But I think...
But is your happiness more than a million people's happiness?
I mean, to be perfectly honest, that's where the people pleasing comes in.
There's a cheeseburger in front of you, or you can give a million cheeseburgers to a million people so they don't die of hunger. Do you eat the cheeseburger?
How long has it been since you last ate?
And I think the obvious answer is you save your child, but you ask a good question. It's again getting rid of the relationship. What's the right choice? The right choice is to save everyone, other than that one life you'd sacrifice. But I would pretty much tell Darkseid, I'm going to shove my foot is going up your ass.
Well,
and then
I
I'd
know,
spit in his face.
I mean, that's the decision, though, right? He said that I don't think I'm going to have to. At the end, he decides that he is going to bring his son there, but he's going to use it to trick Darkseid and try to kill Darkseid.
Yep.
And I mean, that's what he's basically going to do. You can't really say no to Darkseid, but you can try to trick him. Who knows if it's going to work or not, but that's what he's going to try to do.
That's a horrible plan. Because usually when you plan something, let's think Scooby-Doo gang, you put that bait out there, you try to catch that ghost, you get fucked.
I would be asking Dr. Fate, take some time off, come hang out with me. I need you to make a fake kid for me to hand over to Darkseid. And then we're going to run like hell.
There you go, get a pup.
Boom.
So I think this issue was great. There were nice little moments. So the thing is like for Barda, this whole issue is her still trying to take care of her son. And there's a moment where she blows up and she says, "You're being a selfish asshole. Like, why are you acting like there's a choice? There's not a choice." And like, I've been trying to raise this kid, and you went like at the beginning of the series, he had tried to commit suicide, and she's like, "You were trying to leave me?" And she goes, "No, I'm not trying to leave you. I'm just like in a bad place." And she's like, "We're in this together. Like, I understand why you think you're alone." And it's kind of I mean, it is a relevance not the right word I'm looking for, but it is a great conversation that she's having and a great thing to see in this issue, because if you see throughout the issue, a lot of times, and after this, I think it changes. She's like putting the kid to sleep, taking care of the kid, and he's trying to think of a decision. Let's talk about the war. And she's really focused on home. And if you think about it on as a metaphor, right, as we have been this whole series, like imagine if he had a decision to make at work, right? And he's still concerned with work. They work together. And when she's at home, she's at home. But when he's at home, he's not at home. He's still at work. And so she's doing all this. And really, she's like, what are you doing? You're trying to decide between making yourself, you're like, well, you want to win a war. You don't want to save your kids. You want to like put your work over your home life. And there's no balance there. And she yells at him for that, yells at him for trying to commit suicide. And she finally puts things in perspective for him to be like, and like you said, Garrett, like you're thinking about it and you're removing all the relationship. Like, this is your son.
Right.
I'm your wife. What are we doing here? It's not his choice. Once he said that, in your mind, it should have been a decision like, no, this is not happening. And I think that really turned around to be like, yeah, you're right. It's not going to happen. And I'm going to go kill my dad.
Right. I mean, that's the best part too, is like whenever someone throws a black and white decision, you don't have to make a black and white decision. You fucking gray that shit. Like, you find a way around it. Sorry, metaphor talk here. But you find a way to make it so, do it like Spider-Man does in the first movie. He saved both. There's always a way. It might not be easy, but you can find a way. You have so many resources available. And like, I think what Tom King does great in this book, and Mitch Grad's on art, like, have you ever had that, like, feeling like the next day, like, I got to get through this one thing, and it just kills you? That anxiety and anticipation I feel in this entire series, and it just, like, sends me back there. I'm like, by the end, I'm, like, breathing heavy, and I'm just like, oh, my God, it's over. Like, there's so much intense anxiety.
We'll talk about another Tom King book later, but I think Tom is great at that. And I think that's what he's doing with these characters in Heroes in Crisis, that he's going to be printing. He's going to be writing later this year. Is it this year or next year?
September 26th.
This year. So in a month.
Yeah.
He's great about seeing these characters and not being like, man, these guys are gods and like they really have power, problems that are above ours. It's more like, yeah, but if you have about that power above yours, isn't a lot of responsibilities, a lot of anxiety, stress, and wouldn't that wear you down more?
Right.
And where to a point, like he went on and got drunk with Booster Gold, and who was the other person?
Ted Cord.
Oh yeah, Blue Beetle. They all went out and got drunk.
How was I supposed to know that? I had no idea who that was.
Hair,
little references.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he was trying to name the team. They go out and get drunk, and then he comes back and he's drunk, and she's like, "At least don't throw up. I pick up enough vomit that's not. I don't need to pick up your vomit." And once again, being irresponsible when he's being a parent and letting her do everything.
I need Tom King on a Booster Gold book.
So, like, you're right. He takes these people who, in any other instance, and they've been written for a long time and not by everybody. Some people have done this before, but I think Tom King's really great about being like, yeah, but that's going to be a hard decision. Like, to be this kind of hero, have this, when he became the High Father, right?
Yep.
When he became the High Father, the amount of stress that he has now, since that day. Can you remember when they were happy and stuff like that going through there? When he found out that she was pregnant and all that? And then he becomes the High Father because Orion dies or gets killed.
By Darkseid, yeah.
And since that issue, he's gone back to having all this anxiety, all this stress, and going back to where we found him in the first issue, which led to him trying to commit suicide. And we're back there now. But this time, he reaches out to Barda. Barda sets him straight. And maybe he's okay, or maybe he is committing suicide in a different way by going to face Darkseid, and that's his choice. So we'll see. I don't know. I thought it was fantastic. Mitch Gerads, like you said, art's fantastic. The dude just won an Eisner for this book, and it looks great. There's going to be 9 panel grids. Amazing. This is so far one of my favorite series I've probably ever read.
Yeah, I give this book a 10.
Yeah, 10 too.
I mean, there hasn't been a bad issue of the series.
I would say I actually found this issue to be kind of boring. I read it and I was just like, I don't know if I care. I mean, I'm going to finish out the series, but I'm just like,
I'm shocked right now.
I think a part of it for me is that the answer to me is easy. No matter whether or not you are the president or the High Father or Odin, the answer is protect your child. So there's never a question of what the right answer would have been. And for him, I understand he still has to bounce through these ideas. He still has to work through it. But
if you were the grand leader, this position does not exist. So don't act like you're trying to find something that's relevant right now. If you were the grand leader of the world, you were in charge of everything. Every country, every president reported to you. Aliens came here and they said, "Hey, we came here. We just want one human. We want your son or daughter, and we're going to take them and we're going to take them off, and they're going to become part of our race because we want to kind of get to know humans, or we're going to destroy your planet." You're saying, "Go ahead and destroy my planet." That's what you would say.
I say, "Welcome to America," and then punch him in the face.
So what would you give it then if we didn't enjoy it?
I'd actually give it. It was fine. I'd give it a 9, but this wasn't a perfect issue for me. I'm ready. It's like, okay,
really,
this is already kind of gone.
This is the calm before the storm.
This has kind of gone on long enough where it's like, okay, you've. I understand he's struggling with it, and I'm totally on board with Barda. She's planning out this kid's life, and she's like, it's the first year. This is his first birthday. He keeps talking about work, and she just gets pissed and punches the wall. It's like, okay, respect. That's how I'd be. The answer's already been done.
Well, you're
for her.
Barda in this situation. She never had a
and that's the thing is that I don't agree with his struggle. I understand.
So were you
what you're
more frustrated, being like, dude, what are you trying to?
Why are you justifying saving the world when the whole choice would be, I will save my child and I'll beat you?
That's how Barda was in this issue. And I mean, to be honest, and I love my son, and I would have the same kind of final decision, but I would struggle with it too. Because it's like, dude, you're killing millions of people. And I'm not, like I said, it's because I would take myself outside of it and be like, imagine being one of those people and saying, this guy is not he's not even saying he's going to kill his son. He's saying, I want to raise your son. This
is a Rumpelstiltskin problem.
And he's saying, no, kill them instead. And I guess he'll try to stop Darkseid, but Darkseid is. And,
when I'm done with him, Darkseid was.
Oh, God. Hey, if that's the last panel, I will buy you a comic.
Dude, that's awesome.
Garrett, what else do we get? Oh, Alex.
Now you guys got me all fired up and wanted to beat up on Darkseid, a fake character.
Just punch Marvin at me.
Leviathan #1 by John Layman and art by Nick Pitara. Garrett and I got this book together, and I think we had a little different thoughts for it.
Do you like this more than Mr. Miracle?
I thought it was a new idea. Like for me, it was a number.
Answer my question.
It was a #1 excitement. Yes.
Oh my God!
I actually read this and I enjoyed this issue, but I had different feelings for this than you did. There are rules that you don't like towards your monsters.
Well, I don't think.
So what? Goth Bobby or Goth Billy or some dumb character.
So okay, let's put this out there for the fans. So basically, there's a demonic ceremony you can do to summon monsters, where you like.
Is it just any monster? I thought this was
this
the
one
thing.
monster.
Okay,
but I mean, you see the cover for the next issue. There's going to be different dinosaurs and shit. So
yeah.
But I don't like the fact that these dinosaurs could be summoned. I would rather have there be a reason for them coming out, and then it's just like a horror movie that all these people that summoned it's a dinosaur, right? That's what they were kind of making it seem like.
He seems like it's a Godzilla-ish kind of thing.
And he's summoned, but he has to kill the people that summoned him.
I see. Now my thing is, I think it's cliche. I don't think that's literally what happened. I don't think he actually got summoned by this thing. I think it's just all coincidental, and all the people that were a part of it really are dying.
That could be it. But like, there's that aspect. Now, all the characters, the human characters we're getting, like 1 billion of them. There's like 16 of them, but then they give us the names of 2 people, and then one of the persons like goes away, his friend Jimmy or something.
He runs away.
Ryan is the one trying to find his sweetheart. And I'm like, I feel like I've seen this before. I feel like I've seen, it's exactly like Cloverfield. There's a love story in that movie trying to survive from monsters, and then bad shit happens.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen it before, and like, I thought the art was good. Very crowded, lots of stuff going on, and that's good. That's great. A professional artist should be able to do that. But I didn't think the story prevented me. Like, I know you said it was new. For me, the only new thing was doing demon stuff, like sacrifices of birds and bones and meat to summon these dinosaurs or monsters. So I was not impressed. And, you know, for someone as like John Layman's like character and his caliber, I was like, this is what you do next? I don't know. It was my weakest book of the week.
This would be kind of like what Batman would have been for me when Tom King got it. I mean, he's taking a character that's been established for 75 years, and now we're putting a little twist on. We're actually humanizing Bruce into being more than just
monsters.
But they're monsters. There's rules to them too. I mean,
there is rules.
It can't just be. There's a giant thing that lived in the water and it came out.
But when has there ever been a blood sacrifice for? I mean, besides someone being eaten by a monster to summon a monster.
I'm not.
I didn't read this issue, so I can't comment on specifically how it's used in the context. But in Cabin in the Woods, they have to have a blood sacrifice to summon a monster. So,
but it's not a kaiju. Like a
suppose it could be a kaiju,
Frankenstein-ish
though, 'cause
monster.
we never see that monster, so I'm not sure. I can't.
So isn't that God one of those things? I mean, it's a huge quote unquote God.
Okay,
I understand what you're saying. I'm just stating that for me, and
the one movie that references every single supernatural entity in existence.
Hey, you asked, he answered it. So I give Marvin props. Thanks for supporting this, because I'm swimming in
I only
that.
agreed with you on everything, Mr. Miracle. No worries.
Hey, you know what? Shut up.
He's just being unbiased. But I think the dragon thing looked cool, but also seeing next issue that there's going to be other, like a big shit ton of monsters and dinosaurs and stuff. I'm like, well, now this one's just one amongst a herd. So there's just so many things that I'm like, I don't think I get your direction on this.
See, for me, it's not even like, I know they kept referencing kaiju. Okay, yay, Pacific Rim and other.
They're being very
giant
meta
monsters.
about it too,
and they are. I mean, you know, the one thing that I enjoyed is that one of the main characters, and this is a big spoiler, was it Viv or V?
Ryan and Vivian.
Vivian. Okay,
He calls her
she
V.
gets hit in the head with a brick and splits her head open.
That was fucking crazy.
I was like, way to go. We didn't have to have this big love scene. Now he's got this kind of, I don't know, a vengeance towards it, or it's like, okay, shit's real.
But isn't it at the end her arms like moving, her hands moving?
Oh, I thought she just kept getting crushed by rocks, and she just keeps getting formed into this effed up thing. Who knows? Maybe she's going to turn into a monster. I mean, there's things that keep me pulled in. I like kaiju. I like monsters. I did kind of feel that tension of, what the hell do you do? And you got that one guy who's like, I'm going to run to go find my love. And then you got these other people who run him over going, dude, you're going the wrong way. What the hell's wrong with you?
And it was cool when the monster was like eating those people, but I just thought it was like happenstance. But when I knew it was predetermined, I was like, come on.
But then I laughed when I think it's Viv is telling us the story. Maybe it was Ryan goes, so-and-so was never very fast. And it just proved that she was slow when she got stepped on by Leviathan. Like, there were things that made me laugh. I was looking for Chew references. I was even looking for Manhattan Project references.
Probably some in there. Their
And so-
names, Batara and Lehman, were all over the place.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, it was one of those. It was a writer that I had heard of from Chew and from Marvin saying, "Oh, this book, so funny." Patara does the Manhattan Projects. Like, you know what? That was kind of an art that I got into a while ago, and I was like, I don't know if I care for it. And you know what? I really did enjoy it. This was an 8. It wasn't like a 10 or anything. But I thought the colors looked good, the art looked great, and for Patara to actually put that much detail and effort into making like that first part where the Leviathan comes out and the whole city's getting destroyed, I thought it looked great.
I have to give it a 6. I wasn't impressed, and now that I've talked it out, probably not getting issue 2.
Well,
I mean, it was worth a try. I think like John Layman can write great comics, and I've read some great comics by him. I just don't think this story capture me. Like, I always think a first issue should at least throw some hook in there where I'm curious for the next issue. This did not accomplish that for me. It was more like, I see what you're trying to do, sort of, but not enough for me to like keep investing in this direction.
But I've seen us do books where we've gotten the first issue, and the first issue really is amazing, and then you get to like 6 and 7, and it's shit. I'm talking about 7 to Eternity.
But that's the whole point about writing comics, for the most part, is you're trying to get people to get your next comic. Or if they're reading the trade, you have such a compelling story that you read the entire thing. And if I would have read, like, just reading that first issue, I don't even care to read the next part, because they didn't spend enough time with Ryan for me to care about his love with Vivian. The only history we get about them is a page that they're dating.
Yeah.
How many people are dating in the world? Everybody.
He was going to pop the question.
I guess
And
you're
then
right.
she got hit by a brick. Maybe he's still going to ask her to marry him. Maybe he's going to bend that broken arm down and put a ring on it. Maybe they're going to play Beyonce's song in the background. All the single ladies. And you know what? I would judge Ryan for that. Leave her back.
I just think it was more. I know John Layman's a funny writer. I think it was definitely more of a comedy than it was like, when I think about monsters, I think about how terrifying and grand they are. This made them seem small and like more of a comical feature as opposed to being an actual like, holy shit monsters.
Yeah, but you think about it, how scary would that really be? Like you've seen Pacific.
Are you kidding?
But I don't think that was the point of the book. It wasn't meant to be this big scary thing.
Don't ask
for
me
him.
how scared I'd be about monsters. I'd be terrified. You see anything that huge, walking around, crushing buildings with their feet, shaking the entire planet basically every time they step, everyone would be pissing their pants.
I'm pretty sure every juice in my body just went through my body.
There would be
I shit it all out together.
There would be a new river in the world from just piss. And
Okay,
shit.
6 and an 8. Okay.
What?
Leviathan, so.
Yeah, so 6 and 8. I'm just saying, would you be terrified if you saw a giant monster in real life?
You know what I'm terrified of? If you're going to be holding that mic, it's addressed in here, not on the side, so nobody can hear you.
I'm talking.
So hopefully you heard Garrett's arguments.
What are you talking about? I'm right here.
Well, now you are, but you weren't before.
I was right here.
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt you, but there you
What
go.
else do we get?
Some
Garrett?
host.
Some host.
Let's see here. I had it.
This whole
up.
thing's fucked up. Why don't you go next? Go ahead.
I always go second.
I know you do, but the way we're situated on this table on this
You
remote.
still to your left. Oh, I didn't need it. That's why. We're doing Immortal Hulk #4, written by Al Ewing with art by Joe Bennett.
We're getting a lot of complaints from our host here on how we're doing things.
He just needs to calm down. You need another beer, Marvin?
I'm not used to Garrett having this thing out of the hatchet. What do you call it?
What?
Never mind. Go ahead.
The microphone stand?
Immortal Hulk #4 is an
It's called a
issue.
stand.
I think it's the first time that we've had continuity between two issues, or like a continuation of the story. 3 and 4 continued the story. The rest of them were kind of like one shots.
Well, this connected all 4 issues.
Yeah, I guess that's what I mean.
said this was the one the tying it all together, because then
Sasquatch.
issue 5 is going to be a continuation directly from this issue.
Of the Alpha Flight. He's a Canadian Hulk, basically. Most of the issue is about him. He gets in a bar fight while they're looking for Bruce, gets stabbed in the back, he gets brought to the hospital, but he's not turning, and she doesn't know why. Why is this not happening? Because doesn't he get angry, and then that's what happens? And when Bruce comes and he shows up and he says that he came there because he was looking for he sensed, he had a gut feeling, and he came there.
Well, the gamma radiation gives off radiation, and
but
that's
he had
what
a gut
honing
feeling he
in on.
should be there. And at the end of the issue, it turns to night. He comes out at night just like same like me. He is the second Hulk, and there he comes, pops out, and
Which is so cool that they reestablished that origin of the Hulk, because we talked about it on, I think it was for issue 1, way back when, that's how Incredible Hulk started out, that it wasn't that he got angry, it's that at night is when the Hulk came out.
The monster comes at night, he comes out, and I think there's been some sort of change, and I think Bruce talks about it. It might have been in the last issue or this issue that he feels a little bit different. Hulk feels smarter than he is, and also like something got changed because it's not when he gets angry anymore. It's at night only. Because there was a time also, like, I forget what it was. In one of these issues, Bruce is like getting attacked. And, there was a story of a bartender meeting him, and he got a little bit angry. So maybe, I'm not sure. But that might have been at night too.
So now I'm confused. Is that the night that brings Hulk, or does he actually get angry? Can he still get angry
So far
during
in
the
the
day and Hulk
series,
out?
it's established that at night he comes out.
Right.
Okay.
But established is a strong word. I think...
He says it multiple times.
I know he does. I know.
Is that not establishment?
Yes, but it's not saying that's the only way. I'm
There's only
saying
way
I
as
think
of
that's
right now
part of the
that we know.
horror aspect is that you don't know if it's just the night. You don't know because every time it happens to be night, he happens to be angry. So it's like I think that's what Al Ewing is playing with is that the horror aspect of not knowing what is the actual cause of him becoming the Hulk.
Yeah, so I guess I'm not sure for sure. But it was a great issue. Joe Bennett's art, like you said, is great. Fantastic. And Al Ewing has proven time and time again that he's a great writer. I like the way he takes... He's always been a guy that is not comfortable just telling a story that's always been told. He likes to weave a narrative that involves characters that you might not have seen for a while and like try to tell a different story. His Ultimates was like that. And now he's on this book, and I don't think there's a better writer that can be on this book right now at this time.
He's killing it, and I know he plans to do... He said he's got plans up through the next 30 issues, what he said in the letters column.
Well, let's
that's
hope that
pretty
Marvel
awesome.
plans for that also, because if not, you're going to get half a story, and then it'll turn to...
Uber refreshed.
Well, I guess it just depends on sales. If it's selling good, they'll let him do the 30. If not, we have a situation where he's going to be taken off the book. So.
Well, back to what you said about Joe Bennett. How awesome did like Sasquatch in human form look? What's his name?
Lukowski is his
Yeah.
last name.
But he looks like
looks like
Wolverine.
he looked like Sabretooth
yeah,
to me.
Sabretooth, yeah.
It was, I enjoyed this issue. I think I want a little bit more. I want a little bit more horror in it. I get turning into a monster at night is terrifying.
The first issue
But we haven't
was the scariest one
We
so
haven't
far.
gotten
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of horror stuff. We've just kind of got Hulk stepping in to do something. Because right now Hulk is showing up to, spoilers, fight Sasquatch. So it's, I get he's still being a hero, but it's less about that scare factor that we had in the first issue where he finds this kid who killed that little girl and he breaks every bone. It's like, okay, that's scary. The second issue we had is the ghost guy, the radiated guy.
Yep.
Who
Walking ghost.
accidentally keeps killing everybody or, intentionally is killing people by being near them. The third one is the kid who shoots gamma lasers through
With Hotshot or
hot shot, shoots
Ray something.
lasers from his fingers, and then you watch him blow right through Hulk. It's like, okay, that is pretty scary. This kid's got more power than most of the mutants combined. There's things that I really enjoy. I want that horror that I was promised.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about the backstory of the reporter? We're getting a little more. We get the last time we saw a flashback with it was issue 1, and now this one we see when the Hulk killed her father. And I think it's terrifying when the Hulk stares right at her when the dad's like, "Don't look at him, don't look at him in the eye." And the first thing you see is the Hulk eye. I'm like, "Damn, Joe."
The way
Bennett.
his forehead protrudes, also, it's kind of like, oh, buddy, this he doesn't make the Hulk. Joe Bennett doesn't make the Hulk look like he's been for a while, and he's been a monster, but he's been commercialized a little bit. Yeah, it's humanized. Make him look like a big teddy bear who's the Hulk. Like you would be like, hey, that guy's cool. You know what I mean? But this Hulk is just like, oh, I don't want to meet that. I don't want to be out at night and see that Hulk. The other Hulk, I might be like, hey, his face looks like human. Like in the movies, they
Right.
make it look like Mark Ruffalo. In this, he looks like a monster. And that's really what he should be.
But the thing about it is, like, you see, the Hulk that we see now is always that hero, not in the books, but in the TV shows and the movies, or sorry, just the movies, not in the TV shows. He's always doing heroic things. There's never, other than when Ultron gets a hold of him and makes him freak out and start destroying things. That's the only time I've seen him be a monster. All the other times, he's always being a hero. He's always stepping up and fighting the big heavies. Where right now, it is kind of scary. He just walks around destroying stuff. No one should be out at night. Keep your wives, keep your ladies at home, keep your kids not locked up, but in the house safe.
Let me ask you a question. Next issue comes out. If if the Hulk went against somebody with cop killers, would you be afraid?
Oh my gosh.
I just book an 8. It's good, solid. I've been talking it up like it's great and groundbreaking. But I feel like
I wasn't
like
a fan
the-
of issue 3.
I wasn't a fan of issue.
I think too many artists and too much. Even though it was in South Dakota, that was cool.
One was the best. 2 was good. 2 was interesting, a good kind of mystery.
I do like that it's all over the place. Yeah,
And,
location-wise,
maybe that's
right.
the thing. There's
It's
horror,
traveling.
there's action.
because Bruce Banner's on the
drama.
road. He's running, and it makes sense. I mean, that's the thing also with comic books. DC really not the same because it's in its own universe. But Marvel, not everything happens in New York City.
Right.
Come on, we get a whole state here. Go somewhere else, dude. You could go to, anywhere else and it'd be kind of the same story. Like I don't understand New York is like the
hub
biggest
for
city. It's a
everything.
hub for everything. That's where most of the writers live, so they're familiar with it, right? What you know. But also they weren't all were born there. Like you talk about your hometown, I think it'd be better. And that's what I think what's kind of refreshing about this book is that he's traveling and he's taking, like it was in Minnesota this issue.
He's like John Rambo.
He's like, hey,
He's a wanderer.
it ain't never gonna end.
It's a long road.
Yeah, that's what the Hulk's saying too. It ain't never gonna end. And it ain't over. And
Jeez.
I don't know. I say 8, but I love this book. But for some reason, 8 feels right.
I think 8 as well.
7.
The horror aspect, I mean, it's still, I would consider it a horror book. I do love when you open the cover and you see a quote and you see that quote unfold in the entire issue. I think that's very cool storytelling.
That's what I mean. It's the book's cinematic in a way like an old monster movie would be, and I think that's what I love about it. I love the art. I love everything about this book, but an 8 feels right. I don't know what it is.
I agree. It's not. This isn't a perfect book. There's other Marvel books that are coming out that are much better written.
It's definitely one of the better Marvel books.
Oh, I think
Top 5.
I'm gonna take a jab at Jason Aaron. I think he's one of those writers that's been like Thor. That's one of the weakest books for me recently that I feel like could have used a refresh.
I would love to see somebody else on that book.
So,
But I mean, what are we gonna do?
I know,
He's still
but
doing
I'm
that
just stating that this refresh thing actually feels good. We're getting new writing, we're getting new talent, we're getting new
Yeah.
ideas.
No, I would have loved to see like Donny Cates took over Thor.
So
Like that would have been great. But I mean, and I dropped Thor because I felt the same way. It was more of the same. And I do love that Al Ewing and somebody else who we'll talk about later on the show are taking these characters not only back to their roots, but it does feel like different for these times. Like he's going back and telling like monster stories. Nobody pitched him that. Al Ewing went in and was like, "Hey, I'm going to make a monster book."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Trying new things.
Yeah.
Like, don't do the same
And I think that's
damn
why
thing.
I like that. And like you said, issue 3 wasn't as strong as the rest of them, but this issue, I mean, the series is consistent and it's good. And I think this issue was an 8. Mostly, I think I like the issues. I mean, Bruce and the Hulk weren't in it for that much. And I think maybe that's why I feel like it's an 8.
But Bruce shows up like a
But when he
boss,
shows
though.
up, it's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Alex, me, no,
Two.
You, Marvin.
I told you, fuck me up. I have Batman number 52. This is Tom King and Lee Weeks. With the second issue into the what's this?
Cold Days?
Cold Days storyline. We get Bruce Wayne on the jury for his own kind of case. He's involved. Mr. Freeze, was arrested for the death.
to be fair, he is a doctor.
The murder of Victor, and the murder of 3 women, and Batman at the time had said Mr. Freeze did this, and he beat him up, beat a confession out of him. He got put into police custody, and he confessed in front of them, and then later on said, "No, I didn't actually do it. He forced me to say I did it." And now he's on trial, and all this stuff comes out, and the jury hears all this evidence. I'm recapping because we didn't talk about 51. The jury hears all this evidence. And they all say, it's a pretty clear case, yeah? Batman found out that they had a drop in temperature, and that's Mr. Freeze. And that's how they died. He found it in their brain. They all thought they had died of blood clots. Batman had got a confession out of him. And also, he was wearing his Mr. Freeze outfit with his gun, and that's violation of his parole. So on that basis alone, he should have some sort of repercussions. And at the end, he goes, well, this is pretty clear. The jury's like, this is pretty clear and cut, right? So, like, who thinks that he's not guilty? And the only person to raise their hand is Bruce Wayne.
You mentioned that there was the 3 victims, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So, I mean, if for us, we know that, whoa, Bruce Wayne's saying he doesn't believe that he's guilty, but Bruce Wayne's Batman, and Batman's the one who brought him in saying this guy's guilty. So, you go back, and this issue is all about him being like, you're going off a lot of assumptions.
Yeah.
You're going off a lot of things that you think are right. And when you look at the hard facts, nothing here proves that he did it beyond a reasonable doubt. And I'm reading this issue. I don't know. You guys talked about it a little bit before when I was setting up this podcast here. This issue and in the last issue are amazing in terms of the legal detective work that is happening. The first time in a while that I felt like Bruce Wayne has been a detective, and going back and seeing, even if in that blind rage as Batman, he missed some things. He wasn't clear-headed, and now that he's Bruce Wayne, examining it, gets a second chance at this. He's saying that I was wrong. And here's why. Because we're going off a lot of assumptions here. Here are facts, and here's how I'm going to figure it out. And when he's going through the evidence, and then every time he goes to they go like take a bathroom break, or they go, and so another juror comes up to him and like explains to me like, yeah, you're kind of right about that. Like, one time, my kid, right? This kid was picking on him a lot, and it happens with the kids. And my kid decided to get a gun, and he knew that the next time the kid came for him, he was going to pull out the gun and he was going to, protect himself, because Bruce had said, maybe the reason why he put on his stuff is because he knew Batman was coming. Yep. He's trying to protect himself. Like he knows Batman never came over and said, "Hey, let's have a talk." Chat. No, Batman does not talk. Batman shows up to your door. You're going to get your fucking face beat in. And he said, "You're right. Like my kid, I love my kid and I know my kid, but he was scared. And when he was scared, he went and got a gun. And when the cops came and they were going to take, I said, hey, take this gun. Like, well, yeah, I reported to them. They said, no, this is Gotham. Keep the gun. And at that moment, he realized what kind of city this is. And when Bruce is bringing up that kind of evidence, like he was probably scared. He's always been scared. Like Batman beats the shit out of him every time. Would you put on your stuff, or you would just show up and be like, hey, Batman, beat the shit out of me? You know what I mean? So, and like he eventually, the way he's convincing these jurors with logic, with facts, with detective work, in my mind, has been the best Batman. Like this is
the best arc.
This is the best arc.
Yeah, absolutely.
The whole thing.
You know what I think also made it fresh? We were just talking about with Hulk, how it's about making things new, or Mr. Miracle, or things like that. I don't think there was an entire internal monologue from Bruce at all this issue. I can't guarantee it. There might have been one or two.
I don't think so.
But I think that's what's fresh, is like every book for Bruce or Batman have him thinking the entire issue, and like him just doing detective work, being a detective, being Bruce Wayne. That was awesome. That was so good.
It made it stronger coming from Bruce. That's not Batman with all of his gadgets. It's Bruce literally having that degree of intelligence.
Yeah.
And to be
all him.
I'm telling you how this is. I'm telling you how these things look. How did you think of the blood clot? Well, it probably was the blood clot, but that was before Batman showed up. And then it showed up being Frost when Batman's looking at it. It's like, well, yeah, of course I'm going to think it's Freeze. But what if it wasn't Freeze? Okay, so there's doubt. Great. Then you get to the...
Well, because he said so at Batman at the time when he showed up and he saw that, he was like, this got to be Freeze. And then when he's Bruce Wayne hearing the evidence, and when he hears Gordon say, yeah, I trust my autopsy, what do you call it? Coroner, 100%. And they're the best in the country. And they didn't find it. Bruce is sitting there being like, they didn't find it. Like, I trust Gordon, and Gordon trusts them. It wasn't there then. So if it wasn't there, but it was there for me, between that time, something must have happened. Somebody's trying to frame Freeze. And you said, you're right. No gadgets, no Batman, nothing that he has to go and like literally go and investigate. He's hearing evidence and using his mind to examine it and sit back and be like, this doesn't make sense. We can't convict Mr. Freeze on assumptions, on shadows of doubt, and on, like Gary was saying before, the crime or the legal system is not based on gray areas. It's based on, did they do it 100%? Yes. Okay, then we'll convict them. You can't put somebody in jail because they probably did it.
You can't question it.
Well, that's the thing too, and I think Bruce Wayne in that comic, or obviously Tom King, brought up the fact that he explained that Mr. Freeze was on parole, right? Just putting on his outfit, puts him outside his parole. Leaving he was in a protected house, violates his parole. Why would, he got scared out. There's no way he got scared out of his place. If they made it seem like if he heard Batman was coming for him, why would you leave your protected house arrest where you're perfectly safe and he probably wouldn't come after you? But instead he goes out into the public where Batman can stalk him, as you obviously see in this issue. Like he said, it doesn't make sense.
He was trying to go after. He goes, he probably was trying to stop Batman first, like get ahead of the game. And he was told by somebody that Batman's coming for you. And they're like, what? You can't believe Mr. Freeze? Like, maybe what if that actually didn't happen? He goes, okay, let's assume nobody ever told him. It's a huge coincidence that he knew Batman was coming. He put on his suit and he just happened to go out there and go look for Batman. Like, for what reason? Like you said, he was on his own. He had no reason to believe Batman was ever after him. He was, in his protected place, going about his life, and all of a sudden he's like, yeah, let me go find Batman. Like, for what?
Well, then he makes people think, now Bruce is telling them that maybe it's Batman's fault. And then he goes, people get caught up in other things. There's things that go on in their
That's the
life.
best scene of this whole issue.
And he goes, sometimes you get drawn into other things. You get distracted. You go too far. And I love that. That was, like you said,
the best part
panel.
of the issue.
It's amazing.
Once again, Tom King taking a character and saying, like, my father and mom died in an alley. And he retells the story and says, and I moved on and I was happy. And when I'm happy, I'm happy. But when something bad happens in my life, I lose a loved one or something, or something happens that brings me down, I retreat back to being that kid and being angry, being in that alley all alone and being scared and afraid. And you don't think that Mr. Freeze, and he's like, I'm away from it. That's so long ago, but I revert back to it. You don't think that Mr. Freeze in that interrogation room is not reverting back thinking that if I don't tell them that I did this, Batman's going to come for me. Mm-hmm. If I say I don't think I did this and I get out of here, you don't think Batman's going to come and put me back in here and beat the shit out of me more? I'm going to tell them, yes, I did do it. And then when I calm down a little bit and get back to who I was and that fear goes away a little bit, I'll come clear-headed and be like, no, I didn't do this. I just said it out of fear. And it happens what I love about this is that this happens. Mm-hmm. And when they're in that jury room and all of them are like, yeah, it's Mr. Freeze. Of course he did it. Like, they're just saying, yeah, of course, it's Mr. Freeze. If he didn't do it, who cares? The guy deserves to be in here. And you can't put people in there in jail, any kind of jail, because of the assumption that they would do something eventually, or the assumption that they probably done something before. So let's get him for this thing. You're in there to do this crime, and I love that Bruce, as Batman, and Batman should have that mindset too, but he's like, no, I'm in the legal system. I'm a juror here. Let's do, I'm supposed to be, I work outside the system when I'm out of here in a bat costume. But while I'm going to be in here, we're working by a system, and let's go through all that. And he even says, if we go through this whole thing, and you guys still aren't convinced, I'll vote guilty. If you guys are, and then we'll get to the end, and he goes, but I don't think you will be. And God, the whole thing is great. Did you guys like 12 Angry Men?
I said there's two things that are solid for, at least for me. Sorry, I'm what?
Go ahead. No. I just asked a question and then you just move past it. Go ahead.
Oh, well.
My question is irrelevant. Go.
Well, I was going to say there's two things for at least Batman-esque that I look forward to, and now that I know Tom King can do it, it blows my mind. Detective work Batman is one of the most important things, and the fact that Batman actually instills fear. The whole point of him being Batman is to scare the criminals. And he did. And he does.
Mr. Freeze, you think would be somebody who wouldn't, be afraid of Batman, but he is.
Right.
Enough to say, hey, I killed 3 people when I didn't. And Mr. Freeze is a guy who is kind of in that gray area. He's a villain, but he's villain for the purpose. He's not just going out there killing people randomly for no reason. Sometimes. But actually, no, well, in Gotham Central, he does it one time because he's obsessed with somebody. But no. Yes.
That was a New 52, though.
Maybe. I get confused. But I mean, out of all the Batman's rogue gallery, he's probably one where you could most sympathize with. And most feel like, maybe he's trying to save his wife, right? And they even say, he's trying to experiment to bring back his wife. So, like Alex said, even this guy who is smart, who is a guy who you think would be level-headed, when Batman comes, it doesn't matter who you are. He instills enough fear that you're going to remember Batman, and it's going to cause some long-term damage, some PTSD. And you're not the same thing with Batman. Batman was attacked in an alley. His parents were killed. But he comes and instills that same type of fear, PTSD that happened to him into those villains and as some sort of revenge for that night. Every single night he goes out there. And we've seen it happen. And we saw in this issue, when Freeze was there and he said, when Bruce is explaining that, I felt bad for Freeze. I was like, this dude was so afraid.
Well, you see how much he gets his
I was gonna say that those 4 panels when he's beating the shit out of him, and the last one's just blood, and you're like, holy shit. Lee Weeks is amazing in the last 2 issues. Alex said on the Gauntlet, which you saw earlier this week, the way his panel work is, there's some that it's a whole page, and there's some that it is actual panels. Everything. Fantastic. It's the best probably Batman work I've seen in a long time. And this is coming from a great long list of artists that have been working on this Batman series. And we've talked about Joel Jones, Mitch Gerads, even David Finch was doing great work in this book. And this arc is the best because of that art, but also because of the story and the way Batman's written. It's fantastic.
This is hashtag my Batman. I am so satisfied when I read this. It really did make me smile in a probably kind of a morbid way where it's not even like Bruce realizes he was wrong, and that's the whole reason of trying to protect Mr. Freeze. Going, this wasn't you, and this was fully on Batman. Without my only concern, and it may be a wrong concern. I don't think Tom would do this. I don't want Bruce to go on Batman.
Well, at the end of the issue, he says, there's one way I can prove this to you, and that's how it ends.
Yep.
But I don't think there's no way.
I don't think they would cash it in going, yeah, let's let Bruce tell everybody.
But then again, he's not thinking straight.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe.
I mean, go ahead.
I was going to say, I wish that you know how Bendis is doing action in Superman? I wish Tom King was doing detective and Batman.
I kind of wish there wasn't even a detective. I know there almost has to be a detective comic. I would much rather just see Tom absorb both books. Give me a double-sized issue each.
The second
month.
longest running Batman comic of all time.
Dude, I'm like so satisfied with this issue, this arc, and to know that the next issue comes out in 2 weeks blows my mind and makes me amped.
I would love for Tom King to, once he's done with Mr. Miracle, do a Batman story for that Black Label book. Like they let him do just a miniseries, whatever he wants to do. He's earned it at this point. I want to see him. Instead of just, doing 2 books. Because the only concern I would have with being on 2 books like that you would overwork him and it wouldn't be as great. And you're kind of over allocating him on those 2 books. One thing I think is great about this last arc and coming off of 50, and 50, spoilers. I mean, if you listen to this, you obviously read this issue. In 50, Catwoman leaves him and we think like this man's going to be so angry, he's not going to be able to contain it. And what are we going to see more about the story? Like, how's this going to affect them? These last 2 issues, no mention of Catwoman, right? Except there's one scene when he's in the bathroom, and he's so filled with rage at this point. Like, he's trying to keep it contained. In the issues when he's with the jurors, like when they go to lunch and when they're just talking, he just sits there. He's just observing. He's not really being involved. He goes, excuse me, I got to go to the bathroom. He goes to the bathroom, and he rips the urinal off the wall. He just throws it, and he just yells because he's so angry. And, like, the amount of rage in that scene, and then he goes in the second issue. That was in 51, I believe.
I think so.
And then 52, he talks about it. Like he sometimes reverts back to that. So, and then it kind of explains that scene a little bit. He says, sometimes I revert back to that anger. And like, that's me for a second. Then I come back to Earth and I'm like, what did you do? What are you doing? And the same thing happened when he was beating the shit out of Mr. Freeze. He reverts into that anger. And to see it, you can tell like how angry he is and he's fighting it. Is part of that Tom King that's like how much this is affecting Batman. Like literally his villains come from him every night and they try to take this guy out, and Catwoman leaving him has messed this guy up more than any of those villains. And it really brings Bruce or Batman to a human level to a point when he did that, I felt so bad for this guy more than any arc about explaining it in words could do. Well, about how much Catwoman left him, and he feels horrible.
And that's the nice thing is that it's subtlety. It's not going, Catwoman left me, and that's why I'm so mad and I ripped the urinal off. It's, who knows, and really, maybe he just had a bad day, but it's the Catwoman led him to this thing. He beat the shit out of Mr. Freeze, and now he almost feels guilty about it.
Yeah.
And he's so mad that he's in the situation, that he caused this, that...
Well, dude, when he talks about his PTSD about that, and he goes back to that area, he's defending Freeze, saying, no, he was like, Batman messed up. He beat a confession out of him. And the only reason why Freeze stuck to that story that I did kill them, it's because he was scared. And like, is that the best thing to do? He's questioning himself at this point. He's putting himself on trial. And I think that is the strongest thing I've seen like we were talking about, Tom King do, because now instead of having us examine Batman, Bruce is examining Batman on this level, and he's kind of self-helping himself through this thing, being like, wow, look how I was like. Did I go too far? And we've kind of mentioned we see Dick as Batman for a second, and how cool and collected he is in those moments. And like, there's one scene when he's beating up Killer Croc and he's like on the phone with somebody else, leaving a voicemail. And it's like, that's Dick. That's the difference, is that Bruce is self-absorbed being Batman and seeking out revenge on these people, and Dick's doing a job.
We don't even see Grayson in this episode or this issue, do we?
That was 51.
It's because it's no, I know. I'm calling back to, he isn't in it really was Bruce's Batman doing all this thing.
It was, and that's what I mean. Like, Dick Grayson's always been the guy who's like carefree, and in that point he's like, hey, I'm the voiceful for my friend while I beat the shit out of Killer Croc and take him in. But Bruce, especially that Mr. Freeze scene, that's personal. It's a vendetta, and he wants to make sure Mr. Freeze like pays for his crimes. And this is a 10, and this is my pick of the week. This thing is fantastic.
Yep, 10.
This is an 11.
Yeah.
Like this, I mean, this book really has exceeded all expectations from this issue. Best arc, best art. By all means, if you are looking to get into Batman, start at 51.
Oh, one more thing. You talked about subtlety. Lee Weeks and Tom King giving the ability for Lee Weeks just to tell the story. Doesn't need any dialogue. Has been one of the strongest parts of these two issues. And I think Tom understands sometimes the better way to tell the story is to have us interpret and read it ourselves. And Lee Weeks is a strong enough artist which he can relay those emotions and facts. And, we like you said, I don't need to be told that's why he ripped the urine. I don't need to be told that he's angry and that's why he ripped the urine off the wall. I can see it. And to be able to do that, you got to be mad. So,
dude, yeah.
Do you think you could do that? Could you rip it off?
After this, we're gonna try it.
If Alex jumps on it.
So our next issue, not mine. Next issue is Quantum Age from the World of Black Hammer #2, written by Jeff Lemire, art by Wilfredo Torres. I read this, and this is a book that takes place after. This is
thousands of years
in the future, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I read it. I was bored during the second issue. Like, there's
I
things
read 1 and 2 back to back, and I think if you didn't have number 1 fresh in your mind, this could be more boring because
that's what it was for me.
It's about Trevs, the Martian who's going to join this quantum league, basically.
Yeah.
So in the first Quantum Age issue, we get a good glimpse of what the Quantum League is like, what their purpose is. They're more like the Space Force, I would say, or like, the Green Lanterns or Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's probably Guardians because Green Lanterns are the time people, the clock guys from Dr. Star.
Oh, I'm just saying, like, in general reference.
I'm telling you what the actual
Okay, fine. The Star people. You weirdo. So we get this team that obviously blew up. There's literally a character that blows up. His name's Erg.
Yeah, Herb. I think it's ERB.
Oh,
the armadillo thing.
Yeah. So there's basically there was this huge fight, and it was the Martians were attacking Earth, and to save everyone, Herb exploded and killed all the Martians, or most of them. And then what we're left with in issue 2 is we're kind of getting the origin of Trevs, and how he was born after the Martian-Earth War. He's growing up, we get a folk legend about Barbalian from Black Hammer, which is cool. And the fact that, the Martians were kind of shunning these children for being excited about heroes and like Earth and things like that, because they're like, you're enjoying talking about people that killed almost our entire species. But I have to agree with you. There's a lot of exposition in this book.
This is one of those. You know how probably for you, Garrett, Century was the weakest Jeff Lemire book you've read. Mm-hmm. This for me was probably the weakest.
And I still think it's good, but I think it shows you it's very apocalyptic. I mean, things change so badly, and like one of Gravity Lad turns out to be the president.
Yeah. And
instead of, what he used to stand for, which is being a hero and doing the right thing, he's now about killing all Martians, killing all species that would thwart his ideals.
Stand in his way.
Right. So I think it's still a good story, and I still followed it, and I think it was maybe easier for me because I read 1 and 2 back to back.
And so I'm a month ahead. I mean, I had read 1 when it first came out, so I think that's probably a part of it that I am confused on what I had read last time, because there's a lot of Jeff Lemire I've read. There's a lot of comic books I've read that I'm like, oh, what had happened?
Well, when Erg, whatever, got
the
armadillo exploded. It crippled. What's her name? Gravity Lad's wife.
The girl.
She was able to fly before, or whatever, and now she can still use powers and things like that.
Sounds like the telekinetic, but it wastes away her power.
Yeah. So basically, with this quantum league, they're trying to reform it, but that's not what the surviving members are saying. They're saying, no, we want to do something new, which, they don't call it the quantum age of whatever for nothing. Yeah. But, I think this is only a 4 issue.
I would assume it's only 4.
And, Yeah, I would agree. This is maybe like a 7. For me, I don't know. Maybe I think you're more.
I guess I give it a 6.
Yeah.
Like I was hopeful for this book. I'm excited that it's in the Black Hammer universe. That is super exciting. That he's brought in this world so much. But I'm also on that. Now there's so many things. That I'm kind of missing out. I just want my Black Hammer back.
Yeah. Well, what do you think with the art style? I mean, I can't remember who the artist was.
Wilfredo Torres.
Right, but Dave Stewart did the colors.
Yeah.
And it's like, it looks very similar to what Black Hammer art we get.
Like, I think the book looks great, but I do get a lot of exposition, a lot of having to spell it out for me, which is fine. There was it's hard to tell the difference between their past and their present, because I read the first half of the book on, when is this going on? Then when we jump back to Trez being older, it's like, okay, then I messed up. But
right,
it's not the strongest thing I've read, but I will obviously keep getting this.
Right. On to our final book of the evening. Got Captain America #2, written by Ta-Nehisi Coates, with art by Lionel Francis Yu. And Marvin almost fell over because he's so excited to talk about this book.
He probably is.
I really like this issue. Sorry, I zoned out.
Emotional?
Oh, you're so excited.
I thought the art was great, and his style is scratchy, but I think the lines are well defined enough that I love that kind of style. And so even color-wise looks great. And in terms of story, this Captain America, in terms of we'll go back and talk about how Batman is doubting himself. Captain is talking about how everybody's doubting him, and is he the real Cap? And we listen when he tunes into the what is it called, Fax Network.
Yeah.
And they're talking about, is this the real Cap? The thing we've been talking about for a while. Is that the real Cap?
No, it's Ghost Cap.
It's Ghost Cap. And
dude, he got to fight Ghost Cap this issue. Real life.
And the Hollow Cap.
Yeah, the Hollow Cap.
The way, oh, buddy, that's the third Cap. There's 3 now.
I know when I saw that, I was like, they know.
and he talks about that. And then there's a point even when he's like, Sharon, do you think that, do you not believe that I'm the real Cap? Are you having doubts too? And there's a part where he says that he keeps proving every day, and he's proving to himself even, that he is the real Cap, and that he knows who he is, and that he's not going to let these people who are other super soldiers define who he is, because he knows that was built for a purpose and built for the right thing, and they're using it in the wrong way. And he's got every day when he fights those super soldiers, and they don't have to be something. They don't have to be from the same experiment as he is. They could be anybody. Someone with superpowers, they're still super, soldiers. Every time he takes one of them down, he's trying to prove to the world, everybody who gets these powers are not like this, and that's not who I am. I'm going to stop this, and I'm going to prove to everybody, this can be used for a good purpose, and that's what I'm going to be doing. I thought this issue was fantastic, the first one. I didn't think it dropped in any quality, and I thought it was probably on par with the first one, even too, but it was more, the first one was more Cap examining the country, do I want to fight for this country still? And then this issue was him saying, does this country even want me to fight for them? Do they even want me back? What's going on here? And
because it shows it because Ross and Sharon just got this new role. Ross is like, dude, we don't need you. You can go away. You could have ruined our operation. He's like, did you have an operation planned? It's that's none of your business. But if we did, you potentially just ruined it. Ross is just being an ass. And I love how they're having this huge conversation of why or why not Cap should be there. And then Ross is like, well, I know for one fact that nobody wants to see the guy that's in prison over here who looks a lot like you to be out here.
I mean, he even says, how do we know you're not the guy that's supposed to be in prison right now?
Oh, yeah. Fuck. He said that, and I was like, holy fuck. And Thunderbolt Ross, baby.
He's probably listening to that Fax Network too much. So, but I love this issue on par with the first one. It's too bad that Batman was fucking fantastic this week. Yeah. Otherwise, this would have been my pick. But it's
you have 2
right
picks.
below. I know it's right below it. It's right below it. That Batman was fantastic though. But Cap was on par with that first issue, and it makes me so happy that Coates gets his character. That you has been his art's been fantastic, and like we talked about with Weeks. Letting the art tell the story in some instances. There's not a lot of dialogue, and even internal dialogue, which can get overbearing. Not a lot in this issue. It'll be one on the page, and then the art tells the story when he's beating up these nuke guys, these fake nukes. WMDs. And you think that's what they're going to be called? Weapons of Mass Dukes? Duke Nukems.
You know what I'm really glad is this is issue 2, and they didn't like force the little secret organization that kind of showed up in issue 1.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of nice.
They set the seeds and it can grow.
Like you got a taste, and now they're going to go in the background, and we won't see them maybe till next issue or maybe the one after that. So, another thing I think of you every time, Marvin, when I see that new costume, the feathered like Captain America outfit, just looks incredible.
You doing that costume looks fantastic.
Oh my god!
When I'm reading this issue,
how many cool poses were there too? Where he's got that shield. There's like Lionel Francine does like a one page where Cap's like having a bullet bounce off his shield, and I was just like staring at it, and I was like, oh my god, I want a poster of that.
I love this series, and it really is like you said. There is a comic book kind of storyline waiting there, but Coates is like, no. We got to first take time to like. This guy just came back. He might not be the real guy. Like. Yep. Answering all these questions that we've had, like fans have had, being like, "Oh, could he really be the real guy? Though he's really kind of like a ghost Cap," and all those doubts, he's taken him head on. Unlike the last couple arcs, which ignored it completely since it happened in Secret Empire, saying, "Yeah, you're saying he's not really the Captain America, but what do you really want? Like, you're not believing in the dream. If you don't believe in the dream anymore, you don't believe in this guy. Like, he's back, and this is who like." What makes him any different than anybody else that's out there? He was made real by that cosmic cube, and what was her name? Cubix.
Yep.
And so, like, what makes her different? Nothing really makes him different. He's
a ghost.
I mean, to be fair though, if she makes him real, he's real. And if that was Steve Rogers, as Steve Rogers was. What makes him any different than being born? And I think that's really what they're examining, being like, if you don't believe in him, who are you going to believe in?
But yeah, and I know you touched on this. He's having that question too. He's constantly thinking. He's like, has everything I've done my entire life been based on an ideal that I don't know if I can uphold anymore? And like, you can tell throughout this comic, like Sharon's like at the beginning, she's like, do you trust me to do this? Like, are you supporting me in this? And you can tell Cap's like, oh yeah. And it's like, no, you're not. Like, there's no way that you support her in this leadership role.
And I think in general, Captain is still doubting himself. So when he fights that hologram of himself, he gets beat by the hologram. He gets punched in the face. It's like,
he is having a flashback during that fight about Ghost Cap, basically, or the evil parts of him.
So he's distracted. This isn't the Steve Rogers that is well put together and believes what he's doing is right. Like you said, he doesn't know if he's fighting for the right country anymore, if he's doing the right thing, if he's being Captain America or not. And so I'm excited to see where we're going. And at the end of this issue, we find he's got one of those Juju beans. Nope, that's from Dragon Ball Z.
Juju beans.
Yeah, he made some sort of deal with Cubix, right? She's like, he's like...
Never say that again.
He's like, they don't even know about the deal. So that was a little bit of being like, whoa, what happened? Yep. Like, what's the deal? So, like, she brought him back for a reason. So, we'll see that. I do like I said, I like the way that it's heading. It is a comic that if you're looking to jump on Cap, I would jump on. And it's really strong. And it's probably, for me at least, Marvel's strongest book. So,
I agree with that completely. I give it a 10. Art, story are amazing. You know a comic's good when after you're done reading it, you're still thinking about it and, like, how everything laid out. If it's a simple comic that you didn't enjoy as much, you don't ever have to think about it. It's like going to see a movie and never having to go see it ever again. Yeah. That's when you know a comic's not that great. But when you're just like chilling and it just creeps into your mind, then you know it's a great comic. And then Captain America, it's definitely that.
No.
Captain America number 2, Batman number 52, Leviathan number 1.
This you say his rating, yo.
Oh, you didn't? Go ahead.
10.
10.
Not back to that shit.
You always wait till the last second. That's why.
Well, you guys keep talking. I didn't want to cut you off.
Hey, go ahead. Mr. Miracle number 10, and Immortal Hulk number 4, and what's the book called?
Leviathan number 1.
I already said that.
And Quantum Age of
Hammer.
Black Hammer's World, number 2.
Just call it Quantum Age. If you read the rest of it,
Well, that's
you're
what I
getting
put
the
down
book.
for the title. Is usually just Quantum Age.
Those are the comics we got this week. Pick them up at your local comic book shop or online, anytime, anywhere you usually get them. I'm not sure where you get them. That's your business. SuperCon 2018, Return of the Con, September 28th, 29th, and 30th. Tickets on sale at supercon.com. Alex, we're going to be there doing a show, aren't we?
Yeah, we're going to be there on the 28th doing a live show for everyone. What's it going to be called? Wednesday Comics After Dark.
And not only us are going to be there, a lot of people are going to be there. Phil Hester, right, Garrett?
Yes, Phil Hester, the current artist of Batman Beyond. He's done other projects like Shipwreck. He's done some Swamp Thing that you may or may not have seen, and some Holland Files that came out recently.
Not only Phil, Science Steve, Shay Fontana, Tony Fleece, Travis Nye, Midwest All Pro doing a show the 28th. They'll be doing a show that night. That's the main attraction that night. Jill Thompson, Ryan Cody, John Allen, and more. Tom Wynn. Going to be at supercon.com. Make sure there's a lot going on that weekend. I would say, if I am going to tell you any kind of advice, buy that weekend pass. You won't regret it. You got MAP concert that night also. You got Wednesday Comics After Dark. And then you got a whole weekend of stuff to do, people to see. Supercon.com for more information. We are here and going to play a little game here. We figured the last few weeks we've been a little intensive. What did you say with the talks, right? Last week we had
news.
some Pastrami news, and we've been kind of getting it deep. So let's go a little lighthearted here. We're going to play Sevens, the game that's where we get 7 seconds per each item. And there's 7 of them. See how fast we can get the other person to say what is on the screen. For instance, it might pop up. Let's see here. Red, white, and blue. Marvel.
Captain America.
There you go. See?
Well, I was going to say Namor.
Oh,
Hey, if I say Marvel's Clayface, what would you say?
The Thing.
Sandman.
Come on.
Sandman.
Yeah.
Not clay.
No, but he's
Like Clayface.
The Thing's
He
like
can
made
jump.
of clay.
obviously.
It's made of rock.
Rock.
You know, last
what's
we played
another
this
form
game-
of clay?
last time we played this game, Alex,
go
we
fuck
said that you were the
yourself.
weak link. I think we figured it out.
I think it depends on the episode. So today I'm
I'm
feeling
being
sharp.
practical.
So,
Today
You
I'm
guys
feeling
picked sand. I picked rock.
Alex, you'll go first, and you'll do it. You'll
Am I giving it to you?
to Garrett, and then Garrett will do it to me.
What do you guys give me the clap?
I'll do it to Alex, and then Alex to me to Garrett, Garrett to you. So
You just hand the phone over and look at the
So
person.
I'm going to
you push start when you want to go. Once again, click the screen to go to the next one. Once he gets it, if he can't get it or he said you can't pass, you just set the time right out for that to one. So
Sorry, Garrett.
oh, and also remember, Alex, the finger doesn't have to be right here to go like this, right up close.
Boom.
I know. Boom. Are we going?
When you're ready.
Ready?
Let's go.
3, 2, 1.
Can you put it closer to the mic?
Avengers. Sorry, DC's Avengers.
Justice League.
Iron Man, real name.
Tony Stark.
Clint Barton's
Hawkeye.
Lizard's DC character from Batman's Rogue Gallery.
Swamp Thing. I mean, Killer Croc.
My name for the shit. Reed Richards.
Lex Luthor. Reed Richard. Oh, what?
Gamora, Guardians. He's the leader.
Star Lord.
Captain America's the second movie of MCU.
Winter Soldier.
Sorry, I suck, Garrett. 16.
He did
I
that
like-
finger thing that he just told you not to do.
I like how. No, he was fine with his finger.
Now I'm.
What did you
going
get? What did he
out.
get?
16.
16. I like how instead of just like Guardians leader, he goes Gamora. Guardians.
Well, sorry.
I know you panic. If you could, Garrett,
Yeah.
kind of hold the bottom of the phone on the mic so they can hear
The chimes.
the chimes because it tells the audience you're going on to the next one.
The beeps,
Or if he
the
gets
clicks,
it.
and the
Yes,
words?
That way they know.
Okay. So I'm going to
Yeah,
Alex.
that should be fine.
All right, Alex, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Oh, fuck. Oh, obviously superheroes.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. All right. 3, 2, 1. T'Challa.
Oh, Black Panther.
Superman works at, or Clark Kent works at the,
Daily Planet.
damn. Phil Coulson, agent of
Shield.
Superman's other name, not the Cape
Clark
Crusader.
Kent?
No.
Man of Tomorrow?
Bendis's miniseries.
Man of Steel.
damn. Mrs. Fantastic. I can't think of her name.
Sue Storm?
She has what power?
Invisibility?
Big fat bald guy, Spider-Man's villain. So is
Kingpin.
Daredevil's. You don't want to see me when I'm angry.
Hulk? Bruce Banner?
Oh, 19.
So 16 and 19.
What was the, was Invisibility?
It was Force Field.
Force field.
Oh.
Yeah. What's her name again?
Invisible.
Invisible Woman?
Visible.
Sue Storm?
I was thinking like Mrs. Richards.
I just like how he gets a shield. And he's like, oh shit, I can't do this one.
Well, I was going to, in my mind, I said Clark Gregg. I'm like, Alex won't know who Clark Gregg is.
Yeah, who is that?
Phil Coulson.
Oh, from the actual actress. The
Actor.
actor.
He's an actor.
The man.
Actor.
Alex, here we go.
That's me again?
Yeah. Oh, no.
What?
Oh, you did it wrong. It's supposed to be me.
What?
And him. You did it wrong.
I asked you. I said, am I asking him?
I was too busy. He was asking me also how to hold the phone. So
So you're asking me or
I'll
him?
ask you and then what the reverse this guy. And then I'll have to do it a second time.
You'll have to do it again to me.
Okay.
Clap.
Garrett, here you
All
go.
right.
It burned up in Alex's lamp.
Bug.
No, what it was.
Ant-Man.
What was it specifically?
A fly?
Okay. Superman goes here to get away from everything.
Fortress Solitude.
What's his wife's name?
Lois Lane.
Who is Hugh Jackman?
Wolverine.
This person screams on the X-Men, breaks things with their voice.
I don't know.
Banshee.
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Kingpin.
Where does Spider-Man work?
Daily Bugle.
There you go.
What was that first one?
19 also. Fly.
I said fly.
Yeah, but
it's
you
at the
ran
end
out of
when you already
time.
got it.
For the audience's
I said bug.
the audience's reference, for some reason, a fly decided to commit suicide before the show started and flew right into Alex's lamp
I saw
and
smoke.
smoked
I
up
was
the studio. And you know what? R.I.P. the fly. The episode's dedicated. Pour one out for that, homie. Here we go, Alex. Just for you. 19. So 19, 19, 16.
Of course. Weakest link is still me to you.
I like how you normally in a situation like that, this guy's my go-to. This guy doesn't panic at all. But in this game,
For some reason,
because it involves technology.
my panic is I'm fine picking up the names. It's my having to tell you the things is what I suck at.
Because you don't think we would get it? Like you don't know how to relay.
Like how to get Chris Pratt? You would have probably said Star Lord.
Whatever his name is in Jurassic World. That's what I was
See, that's what my concern
But
is.
it's superheroes.
kidding.
Here we go, Alex.
Superhero.
Screwing with him.
He's in Deadpool movies. He's Man
Cable.
of Steel.
Clauses.
This is Superman's alter ego.
Clark Kent.
Batman's villain. He is the Dragon's Head.
Oh, Rachel
Demon's
Gould.
Batman wears this around his waist.
A belt, utility belt.
This is the one that Garrett couldn't get. Invisible Woman.
First field.
This is Blank Blank Go movie just came out. Spider-Man works here.
Oh, Daily Bugle.
Fuck. Teen Titans. I couldn't think of. I blanked completely. That's 18. I was like,
But that one you clicked early, prematurely.
oh yeah, you're right.
How do you do that?
Colossus. Huh?
How would we do that?
Oh, we can adjust it here. It lets me adjust it. Oh no, it doesn't. I think you got it. Like I clicked it, and then 2 seconds later you got it. So say I got 3. So we'll say that. Yeah, we'll take 2 off 60.
Okay.
60. Oh yeah, Alex, do it.
Cheater
for me.
pumpkin. Does that mean I'm done playing? Is this the last round already?
No, you could do one more time.
Okay.
I don't know. I've asked it to you and him. He's asked me and you. I think you need to ask him, don't you?
Yeah, you should know to ask me now.
Oh,
You've
yeah.
done it twice.
Okay.
2 people have asked you.
All right.
Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. The big metal guy in Deadpool.
Colossus.
D'Onofrio from Daredevil.
Kingpin.
Superman's real name.
Clark Kent.
The book we read from Hickman.
East to West.
No. Sorry. Superheroes.
Avengers.
No. Whatever. Bruce Banner's other name.
Hulk.
The big box thing that's in Avengers, First Avenger.
What?
That what's called uses.
Cosmic Cube.
Yep. Where's Superman go?
Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah, really.
You're right, you
unbelievably.
do suck
I
at
really.
this.
Hey, but I got 19.
Big box. That threw me off because it's a fucking cube, dude.
I can't say cube.
I know, but it's not a box.
Square.
You could have said Tesseract. No, I got it.
Shield was the only one that you missed.
Wait, what was your clue for Shield?
The book we read from Hickman.
Get out of town. son.
Dude, but not only do we got Shield, we got there's a million books.
What other superhero books have we
Avengers,
read
Fantastic Four.
that we've read recently?
Well,
You
didn't
said
say
that we've
recently.
read.
You said we've read.
Oh, that stopped the recording?
Yeah,
Oh, fuck.
because that's how the mics get into the computer.
Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Here we go. Man of
Steel.
dies because of Spider-Man. Green Goblin.
Green Goblin.
Well, I mean, Green Goblin kills.
Gwen Stacy.
Batman gets fear toxin from the
Scarecrow.
runs into walls. Spider-Man. Mecha. Damn.
Rhino?
Oh,
Merc with a mouth.
Deadpool.
Can disappear places. A mutant. Appear other places.
Nightcrawler.
Batman's was going to be wife.
Catwoman.
Okay, I want Garrett to be the weakest link on
There's
this.
so
What are
many,
you talking about?
There's so many X-Men.
What'd you get? 12?
He got 17.
Still weakest link.
There's
How?
so many.
I did worse even by him not getting shield.
No.
So many X-Men that disappear and can reappear.
At first I thought Kitty Pryde.
Tell
Yeah,
me-
that's what I thought
Then
too.
you said
She
reappear.
can't
this
disappear and reappear. She can walk through walls.
one. She can phase, yeah. But I'm just saying that's how it seemed. Like she can disappear. If she
But
wants
that's
to.
not her power.
Well, you were
Whose
still
mutant power is appearing and disappearing?
What's
Kitty Pryde.
what's Nightcrawler's dad's name?
Zazel.
Yeah, so he can disappear. Might have been Zazel.
See?
Who knows?
Boom.
Movies action here. It's not comic related,
It's
but
the
we were
second time he's defended
we
me.
were talking.
You need it.
We were talking about Lethal Weapon earlier, so let's go back and do this as
You're going to ask us both together?
Yeah,
or
it's both together. You both can answer together. Let's use the collective minds of Wednesday Comics to talk about this. Here we go. Action movies. This is I think, out of all three of us, our wheelhouse. I think
do
we all
this.
enjoy action movies, no matter how dumb. We're talking about cop killers.
Yeah.
And it'd always be my guilty pleasure. Commando. Love it. Cobra with Sylvester.
Last Action Hero?
Good. That's pretty good, too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a guilty pleasure. Actually, it's a good movie, but here you go. Tom Cruise and Val Kilmer.
Top Gun.
Jason Statham when he has to keep going.
Transporter?
He has to keep going, otherwise he's going to die.
Speed.
This is Riggs, actor.
Mel Gibson.
The movie that was a Disney old movie and got remade with Jeff Bridges. Not remade, sequel.
Tron. Legacy.
This is, we just talked about these guys. Nightcrawler's involved.
X-Men.
Wolverine.
X-Men.
Yeah. King Kong ain't got shit on me. Who's that actor?
Mr. T.
Half man.
Half Machine.
What's him?
Cyborg.
Terminator.
No, I mean, fuck these.
Cyborg?
All right.
So maybe it's not a response.
I couldn't say
here,
cop.
Here, let me try then. We'll do one. I'll do one to you two, and then he can do one to us.
Here's the ones you missed. You got Top Gun, obviously. Tom Cruise and Val Kilmer. We all know Top Gun. You got the X-Men, but with only 2 seconds left. We got Tron with only 1 second left. We got Mel Gibson with 3 seconds. That should have been quicker. Riggs actor. Come on, buddy. The one we missed, Jason Statham. Can't
Or is it Crash?
Don't say it.
Can't stop moving, otherwise he'll die.
Crank.
Damn. I couldn't say half man, half blank. No, yeah, half man, half machine, all blank.
Oh, RoboCop.
RoboCop. I couldn't say cop. King
Yo,
Kong.
when you said Man of Steel, or was it just Steel?
I said Cyborg.
No. When it was Man of Steel and the superhero
I
one.
said Man of.
Yeah, was it actually Man of Steel or was it just Steel?
It was Steel.
Oh, it was just Steel. Okay.
I could have
Okay.
said Shaquille O'Neal.
You should have said the best movie ever that has Shaq in it. Well, this one here, I went too specific. King Kong ain't got shit on me. That's Denzel Washington and Training Day.
I don't know if I've seen Training Day.
I haven't seen it either.
That would explain that. Here you go. Alex is going to do it once. Once again, if you turn off the show at this point, I wouldn't blame you. This is action movies.
Okay.
It's not comic related. So.
You thought we were bad at the superhero category.
Yeah, now we're even worse. What's his name? Jean-Claude Van Damme is in it. It's not punching.
Kickboxer.
Bloodsport.
Nicolas Cage is in it, and he likes to rip off
Gone in
his...
60 seconds.
No.
Face Off.
Yep. I haven't seen this movie. Eggs. Sometimes they're...
Alien.
Broil.
No.
Broil Room.
Sorry. The movie I don't like. It's a universe that's outside in space.
Alien.
Oh,
Command.
Aliens. Predator.
Star Wars. He is so fast he can punch himself. He's Walker, Texas Ranger.
Chuck Norris.
Oh, it's just that.
Rambo's first movie.
First Blood.
Oh, I think you can't say first. But go ahead.
Whatever. Ultimatum, Supremacy, Identity.
Born Identity.
What's his name?
Jason Bourne.
Jason Bourne.
So the only one you guys didn't get was Star Wars. Oh, and Hard Boiled.
I don't know if
That's
that's
like kind of an action movie, yeah.
So Jason Bourne, First Blood, Chuck Norris.
Hard-boiled. Should have said John Woo and
I haven't seen it. I don't know what it is. So I tried giving you guys eggs.
Come
All
on,
right,
boy.
last round, guys.
Play again.
Play again and then
You ready?
next movies. Yeah.
Why don't we do rom-com? All right.
Ooh, buddy. I'd be in.
All right, here we go.
Plan.
It's the final countdown. Can you feel it? Opposite of Punch.
Kick. Boxer.
Brad Pitt. Zombies.
World War Z.
Bruce Lee.
Enter the Dragon.
Just talking about it. Shane Black is doing a sequel to
Lethal Weapon 5.
Monsters.
Oh, Predator.
Agent 47.
Hitman.
Pepper and
Assault.
fucking Kevin Costner world.
Bodyguard.
Damn it.
Westworld. I mean, Waterworld.
Not Waterworld. Got 19.
What was the last
Waterworld
one?
was the last one. I was like,
Oh.
World Underwater. Wait, that's the whole fucking word.
Well, that's 7's there. We get a little action at the end here. And if you didn't hear it all, that's you can blame Bear for that shit. Comics605@gmail.com. That's our email address.
What's the fucking lean cord right next to me?
I thought I could trust you. Yeah, send us an email. Let us know what your favorite action movie of all time is. I want to know: is it Commando? Is it Cobra? Is it Tango and Cash? The Thing? Love.
That's a good one.
I don't think any of these movies I hate. I can make a case for all of them. At Wednesday Comics on Twitter, at Garot2188, at Alex Pastrello, at Marvin_Sog. Where all find us on Twitter. Make sure to follow all of us and the show to get up to the minute news, and we'll tell you what we think. Alex wants them to bring back blue cows of, what's it called? Blue Mesa?
Oh, Cowboys Mumesa.
And if you follow him on Twitter, you would have seen that. And if you follow me on Twitter, you would have seen me arguing with Amazon support. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Wednesday Comics Podcast. Make sure to like the page and tell your friends about it and have them like the page also. And also comment on the page. Do whatever you want on that page. It's there for your use. And find us at WednesdayComics.com, the website. Everything we ever post, Twitter, everything is on there. So go ahead and go there. And when you're there, you'll see a link to rootsoftheswampthing.com. It's your definitive source for all things Swamp Thing. Go there and learn more about the Avatar of the Green. And also go to @DCWorldSwampy on Twitter. It might be late by the time this is out, but he will still enjoy it. Say happy birthday to John Boylan this week. Give him that birthday shout out.
Happy birthday
To you, Alex.
Happy birthday.
Too late.
Mr. Swamp Thing.
Happy birthday to you. There, we did it.
John, you're not too old for this shit.
Not
Swamp
with
Thing. Do. It's just your birthday. Supercon 2018, Return of the Con, September 28th, 29th, and 30th. Go ahead and go to supercon.com, buy your weekend pass, and see Wednesday Comics After Dark on that Friday. Also, go, if you're interested in professional wrestling, go and see MAP on Friday. If you buy a ticket to that MAP show, it will get you into SuperCon for the day, which means it will get you into Wednesday Comics After Dark. Go see some guys body slam each other. There's a concert, and then Wednesday Comics will be there.
I thought you were talking about what we were going to do. I didn't know we were fighting.
Fuck, I'll body slam.
Or singing?
Or singing.
Make sure you keep an eye on WednesdayComics.com around that time, or a little bit before that time, pretty soon, for more information on something that will be coming up on that show. So,
Let's just say it's going to be hot.
hey, let's just say
It's going to be hot. And you're going to like it.
let's just say there's a lot of clues in this show. So go ahead and listen to it.
Ooh. Sizzle.
Hey, Garrett, we have a book club.
Wednesday Comics, League of Extraordinary Gentle People, proudly presents Neil Gaiman, Sandman, Volume 1, Preludes and Nocturnes. There's 3 different artists, so I'm not going to name them here, but the beginning of the Sandman saga. just in time. You have until the first week of October 4th, I think is the date. And coming up next week, and we'll talk about it on the forecast, Sandman Universe #1. So if you've been a fan of the Sandman or you want to know about the Sandman, join us for our book club coming up here in October.
Yeah, they call him the Marvel's Clayface.
Rock and clay. Sand and clay? Nah.
When you dig in the sandbox, don't you find clay at the bottom? Boom.
Make sure you subscribe to this show on Spotify, Google Podcast,
Lawyered.
Apple Podcasts, and Stitcher Radio. Make sure you tell your friends to subscribe. Everybody enjoy the tones of WC, that is Wednesday Comics, G-Dubs, AP, and MS. We're here to tell you everything about the world of the sequential arts. You hear that? It makes it sound pretentious, right? Comic books. And even sometimes we talk about nachos, sometimes we talk about Lethal Weapon. That's the range we go. We talk about
Well,
chips.
what about nachos and Lethal Weapon?
That's what we're eating while we watch the movie.
We talk about
Solid.
chips, comics, and diplomatic immunity. Is there anything else that's on that board? Is that it? I went through everything.
That's almost everything.
Oh, voicemail 605-215-1849. Leave us a voicemail. If you're out there listening to this show right now and you say you want to be more involved in the show, you want to interact with the show, drop us a line. We'll play it in the show. We'll talk about it. You have a question for us, we'll answer it for you. Do you want a recommendation? Leave a voicemail, let us know, and we will answer it on the show, or we will just want to leave a comment. That's also welcome, too. We'll play it at the end of the show for you. You know what, Alex? If somebody had diplomatic immunity, we're going back to this case of whether or not you're being selfish or not. And I believe that at that point in time, I mean, you can do whatever you want, right?
Pretty much.
You can, speed, parking tickets.
No, you just have people assassinated, I think. I think that's cool.
I like how I was going lowball. You can chop left, right, leave a parking meter unpaid, and you're like, or you can kill somebody.
Hey, I'm just telling you what happened.
For Wednesday Comics, I've been Marvin.
I've been Alex.
I'm Garrett.
Hey, everyone. Keep turning those pages.